June. It's Kristen from Maybe a Better Wanna Knits here today to do a little Me Made May wrap up.
Wrap it up, wrap it up, wrap it up.
And share some upcoming summer making goals and plans and such. So if that sounds like something you would be interested in, I will be sharing pattern ideas. I hope you'll stick around. All right, so today is, when I'm recording this, it is May 31st. It is the last day of Me Made May. So you may recall earlier in the month, I established some goals for Me Made May and I shared them here. And I thought I would just do a little recap how things went. So I guess the biggest goal for pretty much everybody in Me Made May is to wear something handmade every day, and I did not do that. For a number of reasons. And I also very quickly fell off the wagon in recording what I was wearing. So a couple reasons for this. One is that I don't have enough handmade sewing items to wear something every day this time of year. In the very early days of May, we were still able to wear hand knits, but that changed pretty quickly to basically 70, 80 degree weather, and suddenly hand knits were out of the picture, and I sort of lost a large swath of my Me Made wardrobe, which was not unexpected, of course. But I did not have enough sewn items to make up for that. So I sew a lot of dresses. I really enjoy sewing dresses. I have sewn more dresses than, probably anything else. And while it is nice to have dresses to wear on the few nicer occasions that are in my life, most of my life is not nice occasions. Most of my life is at home. And I just didn't have enough sewn tops. So I did try to remedy that by cutting out a few more tops, and I have sewn one. I will share a photo here. So this is a pattern I have made before. This is the Clark top from Seamwork. I really like this. It's really fun if you have fabric that looks interesting cut on the bias, so especially kind of stripes like it is shown here. My first one was also like that. And in both cases, I had made this from some leftover fabric. So I think I had about a yard of this fabric left from the other project, and I took probably about 20 minutes putting the patterns, the pattern pieces in different orientations, trying to squeeze this top out. And it's just 4 pieces. It's a front, a back, and a front facing and a back facing. But I really wanted to be able to do it on the bias, and that, is a little trickier. But I eventually got it figured out and was able to make this top. And then I also cut out another top that I have not made yet. I'm also going to be remaking a pattern that I have already made, which is, I want to say, called Riley from Seamwork. I'll throw a photo of my original one in here. So I made this last spring. In fact, I think it was the last project that I shared last year for Me Made May that I had just finished up. So this is a really cute, comfy, easy to wear summery top that the only tricky part of this is everything is finished with bias tape, which is not tricky, it's just annoying. It's a little tedious to do. I've tried so many times to make my own bias tape, but it never seems to work. I don't know, if I have enough leftover fabric of the fabric I cut out, maybe I'll try it again. But you can always, just use store-bought bias tape as well. So I did cut out these 2 tops to add, but that wasn't going to make up for the whole lack of tops in my wardrobe. Another challenge is just that some of the things, so I've been sewing for about 3 years now, And some of the things that I have made during those 3 years, were kind of a learning experience at the time. I was still learning about different fabrics. I was still learning about how, pattern sizing works and whose patterns are, on the small side and on the large side. And I am still learning those things. So some of them don't fit very well, or the fabric is not very comfortable. So I'm just not that interested in wearing them, which is unfortunate. Or, I am interested in wearing them, but they just unfortunately don't fit. Probably I should take a look at some of them and see if any adjustments can be made, but ultimately I think that some of them are just going to kind of be a wash. I'm not going to be able to make the kind of adjustments that are going to make them wearable again. So, live and learn. And then the last challenge really is that I spend a lot of time at home. I work from home. I do a lot of mom stuff, especially in May. I'm like doing a lot of gardening. I'm getting my veggie garden set up. And so wearing nice handmade clothes doesn't make a whole lot of sense for just sitting in my desk chair. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense for gardening. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense for running around with my kids. T-shirts make sense. As I think I said before, I don't have a serger. I have never tried to sew knit fabric. I'm not really all that interested in it at this time. Maybe in the future, but right now I feel like I'm still working my way through learning to sew and fit woven fabrics. And I'm not ready for that next step yet. So, I kind of spend a lot of time in t-shirts. So ultimately, I did not wear handmade every day. I did wear a fair bit of handmade items, especially more at the beginning of the month when I was more enthusiastic, and when the weather was cooler. Yesterday, I actually got to wear a sweater for a very short period of time still, because it just happened to be very chilly in the morning. But overall, wear handmade every day. That was a fail. Live and learn. I guess May is not a great month for that. But what were I did set 3 other goals. So one was to finish the sleeveless top sample that I have been working on. I did that. I will put a photo in here. This top is now in testing. If you would like to hear more about it, you can watch the latest episode of the podcast and learn all about the orilla top, but I did finally finish that sample. I am thrilled with how it turned out. I am planning to publish that pattern in July, and like I said, check out the latest episode of the podcast for more about that. But one thing I did. 2, sew a dress for Mother's Day, and I did that. And again, I will put a photo in here. So this is the Laura dress from True Bias. I love this. The straps are a teeny bit long, but overall, I am thrilled with the way that it turned out. I have already worn it twice. The fabric is lovely. You can probably see it is the same fabric that I used in my second Clark top. So the Clark was the leftover fabric from making this dress. This is, it's comfortable, it's airy, it's a cotton pointel, however you pronounce that I just randomly picked up at Joann's, and it's really like light and breezy, but it's not transparent. So this project turned out really well. I think it's a really cute dress. As I said, I've already worn it twice. I assume I will be wearing it lots this summer. The only annoying thing about it are the buttons. These are shank buttons, and there are loops, and you can see it buttons all the way down the front, and unbuttoning and buttoning them is a little tedious. But other than that, it is beautiful, and I really like it. I think it is absolutely adorable. So 2, I finished that. And then the last one, I realized this morning that I hadn't done it, and so I went ahead and did it really quick, which was to try a new crochet project. So I started teaching myself crochet last year. I have been slowly plugging away on a chevron blanket, but because that chevron blanket is just the same, it's worked in double crochet with some increases and decreases. and that's it the whole time. I'm not really learning anything new. So it has been on my list to start trying some other crochet stuff. And I decided this morning I wanted to go ahead and pick something that maybe would work up more quickly. So I purchased a pattern. I don't even know what it's called. Something very generic like granny square market bag or something. And I attempted and poorly executed my first granny square. So this I am using, I will need to get more yarn, assuming I want this thing to be multicolored, which I do. This is some of the yarn that I picked up at Joann when I did that video, and I was originally going to use it for a sleeveless top, and I just think it's going to be too heavy and it's going to end up being uncomfortable for that. So I figured I can at least start this project. What yarn is this? It's right here. This is, hopefully that's focusing in. So that is Knit and Crochet. That's all it says, 100% cotton. And there's the dog. It says, if you go online, I believe it says it's a DK weight, but it's really more like a worsted, I think. So I grabbed that and I made this. These are the first 2 rounds of this granny square market bag. I am probably going to rip this out. I'm having a challenge in figuring out where, because this is crocheted in the round, and I didn't find the magic loop particularly difficult. It reminded me a lot of the pinhole cast on or the circular cast on that we use for knitting. But when you work back around and have to join, I'm having trouble figuring out where to do that join. So I think I'm going to rip this out and use a locking stitch marker to mark where I'm supposed to join so I can see it a little better. And I think as I go along, it'll get easier to recognize, but I think I need to do that now, just since I'm starting out. But I did it. I tried something new in crochet, and although the join area is very wonky, the rest of it is, pretty adorable. And I do want to, like I said, this yarn seems like it's going to be good for this project. So maybe I'll stop by Joann's, but I need some more colors. It's the sample, I think there's one with like 6 colors and one with 3. 3 is going to be fine. It would be nice to have this to use for summer. I don't have one of those little like blocking setups for granny squares, and there's another another granny square project that I was considering, but it looked a little complicated, and I thought I should do, because this is basically just like crochet 2 giant granny squares and sew up the sides. The other one is like a what we used to call a fanny pack, and I think we're calling them something else now. What am I calling them? Whatever we're calling them. It's gonna drive me crazy. I can't remember what we're calling them. Damn you, Gen Z. We're calling them something else now, but it's a fanny pack that is done in granny squares, 3 different colors. Looks really cute, but presumably because it's kind of shaped like this, there's going to be some shaping, and I don't think I'm quite ready for that yet. But so I'm going to try this first. So checking that off my list of my 4 goals for Me Made May, I at least accomplished 3. That's not bad for a month, I don't think, anyway. So summer is here, and I thought it would be fun to maybe establish some goals for my summer knitting projects and summer sewing projects. So I'll just chat about some of them and share some of the pattern ideas that I am looking at for this summer. This thing. This is my 3rd try on this, and if this doesn't work out this time, I'm going to give up. So this is the sleeveless top concept that I've got, that I'm trying to use Magpie Fibers Equinox, however you prefer to pronounce it, Sport. But it seems like their sport base has changed a bit. It is heavier than what I have used before, which is okay, but I was kind of making some assumptions based on the original base that I had already used, and then failing miserably because the base has changed. It's a little bit heavier, and it's not quite as drapey as it was, which is all fine, but I'm just kind of going back and forth with trying to get this to do what I want. So this is my third attempt. And if this doesn't work, I'm gonna switch to a fingering weight yarn. So I showed you guys in the last podcast the yarn in question, which is this Queen City Yarns Coleman, stop focusing on my face, Coleman Light, which is basically the same, 65 silk, 35 linen, but a fingering weight. And it just knocks something down. But I am going to give this one more try. So I have been just going back and forth with trying to figure out like what the right gauge is. I'm still not 100% convinced that this yarn wasn't mislabeled, but that's a story for another day. But my goal in terms of summer plans and goals is to finish this design and get it published by the end of the summer. Tomorrow's June 1st. You're watching this on June 1st or later, so I need to get moving. Once I just get this bit figured out, this because it's worked from the bottom up, I'm going to start with a split ribbed hem. Then I'm going to have some lovely, what's it called, Latvian braid or Vickel braid, whatever you want to call it, and then an A-line shape. You know, so it's just this bottom part that has been driving me crazy.
Are you pondering what I'm pondering?
I wonder if it would work better to work the braid before joining in the round. That might make my life easier too. Okay, maybe. But that's my goal number one for the summer, is to get this design off and running. So when I say summer, maybe this won't get published until September. It's still plenty summer here in September. It is, as I said, a little bit heavier than I originally thought, and it may do better in sort of the late summer, early fall time. But that is my number one goal, is to get moving on that, because I really like the concept for this design. In terms of personal non-design knitting, I last year found this really cute pattern called the Laurata, and bought the yarn for it, but it was already pretty late in the summer by the time I had sort of stumbled upon this, and I just never got started on it. So I would like to knit this top this summer, maybe before we go to the beach, which is the very end of July. I don't know where my contrast color yarn is, but I do have the yarn. I may have taken it to swatch. I printed out the pattern. The yarn was going to fall on my head. I printed out the pattern. I do have the yarn. So again, this is the Knitting for Olive Pure Silk, and I've got a light pink and a dark pink, and I think it's going to be really cute. I have already decided I am not going to do a corrugated rib. I don't like corrugated rib. I'm not a big stripe person, and I just, especially for, I don't like corrugated rib, and I don't really know why, but it doesn't really work for me. So I'm just going to do a solid rib, which should make the first part of this project a little bit simpler. It didn't fall on my head, but it did fall. Get in there. Does this mean I had too much yarn? Probably. And then the rest of the pattern, I think, is a relatively easy to memorize stitch pattern. So I would like to do that as the main goal for my very personal knitting project this summer. I'm sure I'll have a million other projects. I did start a, what's it called? Summer slipover. And, haven't gotten very far, and I'm using a wool cotton for this, so I definitely won't be, too fussed about trying to wear this until very late in the summer, early fall anyway. But I did start, and I am happy with the way that this fabric is working up. And another project I'm considering maybe for some personal knitting this summer is an adventitious tee. So this is a pattern by Olga Putano, I believe her name. And it calls for a lace weight which I don't generally have a lot of, but I picked this up last year at Yarn Centric. So this is a recycled yarn. It says it is a lace weight, and it is a 100% linen. As my Me Made May challenge has demonstrated, I need more warm weather tops. And I really like the outline tee I have that is done in 100% linen. So thinking maybe I might embark on that. I'm not 100% sure. It is not written for a linen yarn. So I don't know if I'm actually going to go ahead with that or not, but I like the idea in theory. And I would just like to put this yarn to use. So it says this is a 100% linen 5-ply lace weight, and I've got a total of about 1,400 yards. That should be plenty for a tee pattern. That's a potential. Like I said, I really like this t-shirt design. I really want more t-shirts in my life. But because the pattern was not written for a warm weather yarn, I may need to do some adjustments, and I'm not sure how I feel about trying to tackle that. So that is a potential project. And then there are 2 more projects I am considering knitting for the warm weather, but both of them are worked in a yarn that I personally think is too heavy for the summer, especially here where I live. Although it is absolutely beautiful today. It is 72 degrees with low humidity, but this will not last. So I'm not sure if maybe I might want to try using lighter yarns in these, adjusting the patterns. I don't know. Okay, so the first is this Kylie pullover. I love this. This is by Irene Lynn, and it is worked in a warm weather yarn. It is worked in Sandisgarn something. That is a cotton rayon linen. Yeah, Sandisgarn linen. So. That is a warm weather yarn, but a worsted weight, even with all those eyelets, I'm a little concerned that's going to be too heavy. But I really like this. I really like this design, and I'm interested in trying that yarn as well, that blend. So I don't know, and I break my own rule about using, sport weight or lighter yarns for the summer. Do I try to adjust the pattern? They do have a lighter version of that yarn. I think I want to say it's a fingering weight. I don't know. So that's one. The other one just came out, I think yesterday or the day before. This is the Sport Tee by Park Williams, Park and Knit, which is knit in Ritual Dye's Undine DK, which is a cotton linen blend, but again, a DK weight yarn. I just love the shaping on this. It's relatively straightforward. It's, mostly stockinette, but it just has a really a unique and I think kind of retro shape to it that I like. Again, DK weight, I think that's a little heavy for the summer, at least here, but it's really cute. So I don't know. I'm considering, if you have thoughts, please go ahead and share them in the comments. Given how, the fact that it's mostly, stockinette, it may be easy to work at a different gauge with a lighter yarn, but I'm not sure. And I haven't, to be honest, done a lot of research about the pattern itself. I just saw it and just thought it was so cute. So those are my knitting plans and goals for the summer, in addition to hopefully finishing that crochet market bag and maybe trying out that fanny pack, bum bag, whatever people are calling them, pattern as well. In terms of sewing, one of my goals is to use this. It doesn't look like much here, but if we get up close, we can see that this is an adorable red polka dot fabric. It is just a cotton, a relatively light cotton that I think I would like to use for a Darla dress. This is a pattern from True Bias, I want to say. Is that right? Yes, True Bias. They, I think, came out early in May. I think that's what I'm going to do with this. As I said, I don't really need a lot of dresses, but it's just so cute, and I've got this fabric. So I would like to make that. But what I really do probably need to focus on is making some more tops. The problem though is that I'm having trouble finding a lot of cute summer tops for woven fabric. A lot of stuff seems to be for knit fabric, or just seems to have long sleeves. I cannot wear long sleeves in the summer here. So again, in the comments, if you were a sewist and would like to recommend some cute, kind of breezy, comfortable summer top patterns that do use woven fabric, I would love to hear about them. So as I said, I have made a few. I think most of them have been from Seamwork. So this one is also from Seamwork. This is not in a summer fabric, but I'm wearing it today so I can wear something for Me Made May's last day. I can't even remember the name of this pattern. Kemper? I think it's Kemper. And this is very, it's like a cotton, what's it called? Swiss dot or something along those lines. Very nice and airy and comfortable, but it's black, so it's not great for summer. But yeah, a lot of the sleeveless top patterns that I've made are from Seamwork, and I like them a lot. But I don't necessarily need like 2 or 3 matching shirts in different fabrics. So I'd like to make more tops, but in the meantime, I'll probably be making some dresses. So that Darla dress, and the other thing, I got this fabric a while back, and I really want to make kind of a 60, just focus. I don't know why you don't want to focus. There we go. I really want to make a 60s style A-line kind of mod dress. I already have a pattern for it. It's called like a Mary Quant style A-line dress. Really adorable. But what I need to do is to get a contrast, a plain contrast fabric for the collar and the pockets. And so this, it's not really a white background. It's like a very off-white, like an ecru. So I need to take this little swatch to the fabric store and try to find a simple cotton, just a little bit in this sort of off-white color. Or I mean, I guess I could do like the orange or the pale pink, but one of these colors I need to find in sort of just a basic fabric so that I need it, so that I can have it for the trim, and then I will do that. And then the one other dress pattern that I am thinking about, it's not really a dress, it's called the Steel Pinafore. This is from Elb Textiles, I think. I've seen a lot of these on Instagram from Me Made May. They're so cute. And I don't have any fabric for this. And I can't just, like, I can't decide, do I want something like really plain that I'll be able to match with other things, because it's a pinafore, it's not a dress. So it's very open, and you need to wear something under it. Or, do I want to pick like a more interesting fabric and pair it with simpler things underneath? I don't know. So I need to start thinking about fabric for that. I'm kind of drawn toward like a gingham, but I already have a lot of gingham. I already have a gingham dress that I made last summer. And how many gingham dresses does one person need? I don't, probably not that many, probably not even one. But I kind of like that idea. So we'll see. But I would really like to make this summer as well. So despite the fact that I need more tops, I have just explained 3 different dresses that I would like to make this summer. What are you gonna do? I really like sewing dresses. They can have some interesting elements and unique details, but you don't have that hassle of fitting like you do with pants, which can be challenging. I do need more pants in my sewing wardrobe, but I'm not even gonna be thinking about that until the late summer, just because I'm not gonna be wearing them. It just is, it's too hot here, and when I wear pants, it's usually jeans. And I don't think I have the fabric, but I don't think I'm quite ready to try jeans yet. So we'll be focusing on dresses and tops this summer. And again, if you have any top patterns that you like, you know, short sleeve or sleeveless, please do share in the comments. I would love to get some ideas. All right, that is my Me Made May wrap up and some general plans I have for the summer's knitting and sewing projects. Thank you for joining me for this video. If you enjoyed it, I hope you will give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. New videos here every Saturday, mostly about knitting. If you were looking for me on social media, you can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as Media Peruana, and I will see you next time.